Hello and welcome to the Circuit Breakers interview series. I'm your host, Steve Semler, and today I'm joined by Bruce Hagberg, who's the founder and CEO at riteSOFT. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background on yourself and riteSOFT?
Sure. Thanks, Steve, for having me. Happy to talk about riteSOFT, as everybody is, about the company they own and founded. So I'm the founder and CEO of riteSOFT. We're a software developing company that has two different products. One is a warehouse management system, and the other one is a time tracking and scheduling system. Our primary customer base is targeted for small and medium-sized manufacturing companies, but we've got customers both big and small in a variety of different verticals. I've been with riteSOFT since I founded it in 2006. So it's been a long time, about 17 years, and each year gets better, and we're having some fun, and we're getting it done.
Absolutely. And I noticed that you had originally purchased RTE to turn into riteSOFT. And what set you off on that entrepreneurial journey?
Well, as I worked at a company for 22 years. I thought I was going to retire there. The company got bought, venture capital group got bought again, and a number of us were displaced. And so at that point in time, back in 2006, I thought, do I go get another job, or do I pursue the passion that I've had since I was in my early 20s? And you can tell by looking at me that I'm not in my 20s. I've been at this for 40 years. Have never had more fun now than before in my career. But the company that I had worked with had a software background. I had experience with that. I knew a lot of the people. I am not a techie. Like a lot of the people that you invite on these podcasts are techies, and you're helping them with the overall leadership. My role would be considered more as a general manager, getting the right people in place, setting the right direction, creating the right types of partnerships. And so my angle is a little bit different than some small software companies where the innovator, the person with the idea and does the coding, that's not me. So it's a little bit different twist there. So with the company that I was at for 22 years, had a chance to do a lot of different roles. And when they let me go, my biggest sales job was to talk my wife into leveraging everything that we have and starting this company. I bought the company that was RTE because I saw that being a foundation to launch a software company, and it's worked out that way. The early days were very challenging. Right now, it's a lot more fun. And anybody looking to get into a startup business, do so with a lot of due diligence. So I don't want to get sidetracked off on that because I know that you've got some questions, Steve.
Yeah, and with that finance and general business background, I mean, you are positioned to help keep, I guess I would say, help keep the techies on track.
Yep, pretty much. That and just, we use EOS, and so my role has been that of the visionary. We've got a great integrator, and just recently, earlier this year, promoted a very talented person into the role of president. And so as our company matures, and we're a small company, we have a staff of 15 people right now. We're adding a couple of people a year, and our goal that we've been able to achieve is double-digit, sustainable, profitable growth. We're not on a rocket ship ride. We keep growing.
Yeah, and the sustainable growth is something that I keep hearing as a key. Is like, don't oversell what you can produce, and don't under support what you've sold. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of it, culture is so important. I know that's a big part of your, program too, Steve, of creating leaders. So you got to have a workplace that people want to be, they want to achieve, they want to be part of it. And a lot of times in a larger company, you can't necessarily do that. one of the things that I'm fond of talking about when we're recruiting people to be able to join us, as I said, in a small company, every day counts. Every person counts. You get your fingerprints on the success of this company. And if that's something that excites you, a company like riteSOFT could be the place for that. And then you have other people that are more interested in just having a job and just having they want to be a number in a larger organization. So there's very different dynamics, as you know, in small companies versus large companies. And at a team of 15 people, I would consider us a pretty small company.
Well, as culture changes and things change in the business landscape, what do you do to stay adaptable and open to change?
Well, you want to stay involved. In certain groups, you want to be involved in reading what's happening in the tech sector. Right now, one of the biggest things that people are focused on for very good reasons is the AI. We're finding ways to be able to use that in our business every day. And how do you capitalize on that? Getting into support groups with other executives. When you're running a small company, as they say, it's lonely at the top, and it is. When you're the primary owner, accountable and responsible for everything, basically, and the families of 15 people, it's a big responsibility. And it's nice to be able to compare notes with other people, which I see you doing through these podcast series. I commend you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The name of this particular series is Circuit Breakers. So one of the questions I like to ask folks is how have you broken out of kind of that circuit of the routine at some point and been able to get your head up to see the strategic picture?
Well, there again, I think part of that's got to be in you. It's got to be in your blood a little bit. I think the other part of it is staying on top of what's happening in the industry, attending different trade groups, talking with other business owners, talking with other partners, doing research about where we are and where we can go, where else might we be successful in the markets that we're going after. And it's a big part of it is just being naturally curious. And taking that curiosity and doing something with it instead of just saying, gee, I wonder about this. You wonder about it and you got to go after it. There's a lot of sources of information. There's a lot of great people out there to connect with, and it's an ongoing process. And frankly, it's one that I really enjoy. It's a lot of different profiles are out there, whether it's DISC or PHOBE or Myers-Briggs or a lot of the rest of that stuff. And part of my motivated ability is that I'm very curious, that I like to reach out to people. I like to network and connect with people. And that has helped me in my role of founding this company and helping it get off the ground.
Yeah. And speaking of kind of motivating people on the technology side, a lot of technology leaders love the technology, but they feel like they have to just put up with the people side and the business side of things. You've got the other piece there to balance that out. So what have you seen from folks at riteSOFT that has helped deal with that challenge of the technical folks wanting to stay really technical?
Yeah. Well, the main thing is to be able to allow them to do that. The other thing, as I mentioned, that we're using EOS. And so we try to identify what are the key metrics for the company, what are the key metrics for each individual, what are the quarterly rocks, that they have. And you need to realize is that everybody marches to the beat of a different drummer. The developers aren't very good at salespeople. And you wouldn't put your salespeople in development roles. You need to be able to respect the fact and create a work environment for developers that they can focus, they can concentrate. They've got the whiteboards, they've got all the tools, whether it's in person or online, for them to effectively communicate with each other so that they can develop the software further and make the enhancements, work on bug fixes and all that good stuff that comes with software development. And I think understanding that we've had team exercises before about, getting people to understand that not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody responds the same way. That's one of the things that we don't have a lot of diversification, in terms of we got a diversification here, diversity with personalities more so than religion and race and some of the rest of that. We're a central Minnesota software company. But the diversity that you do need and that you welcome is that people that you don't want everybody to salute and say, yes, I'm on board necessarily. You want a diverse group of opinions that are based out of trust, that are based out of what's in the best interest for the company, because if it's in the best interest of the company, it's typically in the best interest of the individual.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because, like you're saying, the culture and the camaraderie and the fit and being able to get those different personalities and backgrounds and thought patterns working together, so from a style standpoint too, is key to what it sounds like it's key to what drives riteSOFT success.
Yeah, very much so.
Neat. Well, let me finish up by kind of asking, what advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs in the tech sector who are just starting out or facing challenges in their business?
One of the things, if people ask what are the keys to the success at riteSOFT or what they have been, and everybody's heard about the 4 P's of marketing. You got product and price and place and promotion. I looked at summarizing the 10 P's of the success at riteSOFT, at least to get us to this point, and it'll help us with our continued success. If you don't mind, it'll just take me a couple minutes to go through our 10 P's of riteSOFT.
Please.
All right, so number 1 is a positive attitude. If you surround yourself with positive attitudes, you're going to get more done and you're going to have a lot more fun. 2 is passion. A lot of people have a job that they're not passionate about. You need to have a passion for what you're doing, for your product, for your customers, for your market, for your team. Otherwise, you're just playing, a game that isn't going to be successful for you. Number 3 is planning. You got to plan your work, and then you got to work your plan, and you got to get ready to adapt and improvise, because not all plans go as planned. And as I mentioned, we're using EOS and traction, and it works. It's probably been the most important thing that we've done as a business. We started doing that in 2016, and it really helps with the overall planning and culture and scalability and all the wonderful things that everybody can learn about if you don't know already. Highly recommend EOS. The 4th P is that of persuasion. You need to believe in what you do and the value that you offer, because you're trying to persuade people, whether it's partners, whether it's bankers, whether it's potential investors, whether it's buying your product or buying into your product. You've got to believe in it, and you got to find ways to persuade people that they believe in it also. And one of the things that was difficult for me is don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. The other one is partnering. That's the 5th P. So our whole business model is based on partnering. And we worked really hard so far to establish customers and partners. We've got over 8,000 end users in 15 countries right now. And it didn't happen overnight. It happens with a lot of hard work. It happens with a lot of outreach, to these people and establishing the relationships. And you've got to create a win-win-win. The business relationships are never real until money starts changing hands. And so you need the partners that you can do that with. Perseverance is number 6. I won't bore you with a bunch of the stories, but you will run into problems. You got to find ways to overcome it, or your business will fail. I had the only programmer on a RiteTime product died of a heart attack at age 50. It's like, whoa, okay, totally unexpected. We didn't have a backup. You need to persevere through that. When we were running out of funds through the recession, it's like, okay, to keep this company alive, I got to go find some investors. And that was a lot of work. So you got to be persistent, and you got to believe in what you're doing. Another one that falls into the place is pay. Number 7 is pay. When you borrow money, pay it back, because you're not going to get a lot of other second chances for that. And when you have resources, pay it forward. It could be with money and contributions to great causes. We, as a team, once a year, we go and clean up the ditches, in the roadside. We got 65 bags of garbage last spring when we did that. Little things like that people want to be able to contribute and pay it forward. And then pay attention. Pay attention to your markets, your customers, your partners, competition, your employees. But I think, personally, the most important thing that you can pay attention to is your family. Because people that are entrepreneurs and they get into businesses and it's all consuming, and their businesses might do all right, but their families fail. And that isn't what anybody wants. Number 8 is play. We believe in that a lot. We work very hard on our culture here to have a work-life balance. Every week that we start our meeting, our EOS level 10 meeting, we start it with a game that goes over really well and helps people to better understand each other, and it sets the stage that we're not here just to work. It's work-life balance is a very big thing, no matter what size of the company it is. And I think that's probably one of the most important things, Steve, that you're teaching your clients is how do you get the right people? How do you motivate the right people? How do you keep them for the long term so that it is sustainable? So you want to work to live, don't live to work, because life is way too short and we all have stories that can relate to that. Number 9 is purpose. I think we're all here to help make this world a better place, for me and for the team that we have here. We think riteSOFT allows us to do that in a bigger scale than we could individually. And number 10, and the most important P of all, is people. It's all about the people. The right people make all the difference, and they also make it all worthwhile. So those are 10 P's of what has made riteSOFT successful so far, and we plan to stick to them.
Thank you much, Bruce, for your time today. Great
All right.
meeting you. More about your entrepreneurial journey.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks. And to those watching, when you're faced with challenges in your business, consider these tips and feel free to reach out to me for coaching or training support. As always, I'm Steve Semler, FocalPoint Business Coaching, helping techies be great leaders. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks.
All right. Yep. Thanks, Steve. Thank you.